What's up? What's up? What is up? It's Friday, which means it's another opportunity for the Ball Hawk Sports Talk to come to you, whether it be on your mobile device in live version, whether it be in the podcast format. However we're coming to you, we promise to be rough, rugged, and raw because that's the only way we know how to do it. It's Friday morning. It's the Ball Hawk Sports Talk with your boy B Brown ESQ, aka the Ball Hawk, aka the Mouth of the South, aka Mr. Excessive Celebration. Here for another wonderful week of sports, business, and entertainment. And today's episode will be Fallen Leaves. It is that time of year where we notice there are a bunch of fallen leaves. That fall time of year where most trees are bare or getting there quite rapidly as we watch the leaves fall. It's also a wonderful time for sports. You got all major sports playing at one time, and so this is a perfect opportunity for the Ball Hawk Sports Talk to bring you sports, business, and entertainment. Fallen Leaves, as you know, our titles are never just titles. They're meaningful, impactful statements that get us to these stories, and today's Fallen Leaves is another example of that. Because when you see the leaves fall, I can't help but to think of all those leaves just being walked over, being piled up, ready to be thrown in the trash can, just thrown away. The leaves that are on the ground, walked over and disregarded are the center. They're the center of today's show. Because I always used to wonder as a kid, well, why do leaves fall off the tree? And the truth of the matter is, the scientific definition of why these leaves fall. Because in spring and summer, leaves convert sunlight into energy. And it's a process known as photosynthesis. So leaves fall or they're pushed off trees so that the tree can survive the winter and grow. That's right. And grow new leaves in the spring. Today's episode of Fallen Leaves, we're going to talk about some of the real meanings of those leaves being on the ground, because the opportunities that come and go that are on the ground are the leaves, but the tree still standing ready for spring to survive the winter. The tree represents the strong people that we've seen in sports, business, and entertainment. There's a lot of them that we're going to discuss this week. So with no further ado, fasten up your seatbelt. It's the Ball Hawk Sports Talk. Let's go. Wake up, wake up, wake up and stay woke, because this is the Ball Hawk Sports Talk with your boy B Brown ESQ, aka the Ball Hawk, aka the Mouth of the South. This is the place where sports, business, and entertainment collide, and we're gonna give it to you rough, rugged, and raw. So come get you a spoonful, like some grits with butter and salt. You know how we do it in the South, y'all. Make sure you do not get caught in your feelings. Strap on your seatbelt and enjoy the ride. Come on, let's go, 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 go. Y'all know what it is. Y'all know what it is. Y'all know what it is. It's the Ball Hawk Sports Talk. It's the entire crew. We got ETP Ellis, the producer. What's up, ETP?
Just chilling, man. Good morning. How are y'all?
Another week, another Boston representations. Today it's the Celtics, huh? That's how we ride.
Hey, man. You know, we got the best sports town, arguably, undebatably. I got to represent it.
You know, in corporate America, you get drug tested on the spot for statements like that, but I'll let you get away with it here.
That's why I got out of there, man. That's why I got out of there.
And you know who else we got? The Big Flo Show himself. What up, Big Flo?
What's good, America? Hey, man, you talking about Boston today. This weekend is the biggest rivalry in all of sports. Biggest game, all of sports. I don't want to hear nothing. Shut up before you even say nothing to me. Don't say nothing, Ellis. The biggest rivalry coming this weekend man. USC week. No comments. That wasn't a question.
That was not a question. At one point, they used to make us know the history of the rivalry.
You had to take a test, or you couldn't dress. You had to take a test, or you couldn't dress.
Yeah, Lou Holtz was serious about that. You had to know the history of the rivalry in order to earn a spot on the field. And needless to say, not everybody was academically astute on
People
the
in there
team.
cheating, trying to get so they could dress.
So give us the Cliff Notes. What's the Cliff Notes version?
You wouldn't
Hey,
understand. You
Just
wouldn't
like most
understand.
exams, I knew the information that is
At the
sufficient
time.
enough for the examination. I don't remember that
The
stuff.
rivalry
they
started
wear
because
red.
Nuke Watney's wife wanted to go to California, and that
Yeah.
was all kind of stuff.
There you go. All right, he still got it. You still got it.
Man.
There's a lot of stuff. Look, we got so much stuff today, man. And I see my man. What up, Cheeky Black? My man, Chu Fu himself is in the building. He says, "Go Stros." We don't have any baseball updates, so it's the 30-second version. I know the Astros are balling. Anybody want to do the update? Because we don't have it in the line.
It's almost over.
It's almost over. Yes, which is also fall ball. They say fall ball. That's when people come out and do their thing. So good luck to all of those watching MLB. But I have since moved on. I had at least a little blip where I tried to watch a little bit of it and indoctrinate myself into baseball. But it's tough to do at this part of the season, or this part of the year.
The only baseball reference I'm gonna give, I got a little humble brag. They say Red Hawks, Mr. October. They did an article on my son, so he didn't know who the hell Mr. October was. I had to let him know, but
so you had to give him the history.
I had to give him the history, and it took me a second. I said, "Wait a minute, that's Reggie Jackson." So anyway, that's my baseball reference and my little humble brag.
And that's not what paper is that, man? Make sure y'all get a copy.
That's the Chicago Tribune.
Chicago Tribune, man. That's a real
It's
article.
kind of a little. To be fair, it's the Western suburban version, so it's not like the big.
Who cares though, man? It's still Chicago
Like
Tribune.
if you live in downtown, don't go to the newsstand. But
It's the Chicago Tribune, dog.
Yeah,
Let's
they
leave
own
it
it.
there.
I hate misleading.
Hey, y'all check out the article, man, with Whittle Wedge,
Mr.
who's not Whittle no more at all. A big time recruit who is going to Northwestern and someone we like to feature here on the show. All right, we got to hop in, man, because Fallen Leaves is the episode title. And as you heard in the opening, we want to talk about what those fallen leaves mean. And I talked about like the opportunities that have come and gone. And in this week's episode, we're going to look at a lot of stories that have shown how fallen leaves or the opportunities are fallen. But in some of these instances, the tree, bear with the analogy, is the person standing there strong, making sure that the leaves are falling just so it can survive and thrive through winter, just so more leaves, more opportunities can be recognized. So with no further ado, I got to hop into, to me, the most important story of fallen leaves. Because last night, to open up week 7, there was a team from Cleveland that played a team from Denver. That's right, you see it. The Cleveland Browns, for those of you who are not watching us live, I will let you know in the podcast world, if you're just hearing my voice, that I am wearing a smooth, what is that, velvet Cleveland Browns hat. And I'm doing so fashionably, because last night, to start off week 7, the fallen leaves, all the opportunities that the Browns have had over the years to put together a formidable team, we've squandered them. We have been a laughing stock of the National Football League. But we saw last night, despite the injuries, despite all the hate which seems to come with the Cleveland Browns these days, we saw an example of how fallen leaves are just opportunities that weren't for us. If the tree remains strong to thrive through winter, new leaves shall form. Dearness Johnson, that's right, that man's first name is Dearness. Dearness Johnson, a backup to the backup running back in Cleveland, who just a few short years ago was playing in the AFA or AAF, whatever that league was called, that was only here for 30 seconds. Ooh. Someone who was undrafted, despite a very successful college career. That Dearness Johnson went out and did what he needed to do. He balled out. 120 or whatever some yards, the most yards by a person starting, a running back starting in his first game for the Cleveland Browns since like 1987. Then he balled out, y'all. Case Keenum did what he had to do, but the Browns and all the fallen leaves are just behind us despite the injuries, despite the fact we're playing with backups. The Cleveland Browns have shown that we can thrive. It is a new day We are going to survive the winter, which it seems to be a long time since we really won anything. I mean, anything. But now the new leaves, baby. And watch out, AFC North. I said that we was going to win the Super Bowl. Everybody thought I was crazy. Like you, talking about Boston being the best sports towns. People wanted to drug test me on the spot when I said the Cleveland Browns were going to win the Super Bowl. But yet, here it is. The Steelers are going to play the Cincinnati Bengals. And if the Bengals win, we are one game out of first place. And that is how you know it's a new day. We've survived the winter. New leaves. Cleveland Browns.
Still have plenty of time to screw
I was gonna say, so week 7, you're trying to say that you don't deserve a drug test? We got like 10 more games before you even get to the playoffs. They added an extra game this season, so you're even a week
2 or 3 more
from
people
your
that
drug
quit.
test.
Somebody will get suspended. Something's going to happen.
Thank you, research team, my man P. Dearness Johnson had 22 carries for 146 yards. 146.
22 times. I'm going to give you 100.
And 1 TD, 6.6 yard per carry for you mathematicians. The boy balled out, man. That's all I'm saying is, man, hey, get your Cleveland Browns gear now, man. Get your Cleveland Browns gear now. You heard it here first. We about to win the Super Bowl. That's how we're going to start our NFL update, weekly update. I had to take the moment. Y'all see what I'm dressed in, baby.
So it's going to be the Browns versus the Cowboys is your prediction. That's what's happening?
I said the Cowboys gonna make the NFC championship game. I didn't say they're gonna make the Super Bowl. I think they lose the NFC championship game. We win the AFC championship game.
The Browns are the AFC, huh? It's been so long since I didn't even know what side they were. I thought they were in the UFC.
On this
I
morning,
thought they were
man.
the G League.
I thought they were in the UFC, just fighting for their life. I didn't know that. Okay, AFC.
See, that's what I mean by falling leaves. All the haters, they might come, but you just got to keep on playing football, baby. D Ernest, and that's D apostrophe Ernest. Put some spec on that man name, man. Put some spec on that man name. That's all I'm going to say. And we can move on. Within the division, we got to talk about fallen leaves because there was a man that came out of the draft. And in the green room itself, there is a classic, infamous picture of him sitting, dejected because his name has not been called. He has not been drafted, despite having won a Heisman during his college career. He was still questioned whether or not he could be a quarterback in the National Football League. People told him to change positions. They found him to be just sort of a remix, a generic brand of a Michael Vick. And yet that man has an entire organization, and I would dare to say an entire conference on his back. Lamar Jackson of Broward County, baby. Broward County in the house. Lamar Jackson, man, balled out. Louisville just retired his number, which is pretty impressive. But on the field, he just had his 35th career win, which passes Dan Marino for being the most wins by someone 25 years or younger. He's got 10 more games before his 25th birthday. And the young man straight up balling, man. I don't know if the Ravens are real. As the hater in the room, because I am a Cleveland Browns fan, if they're real within our division, that makes it a little tougher for us to be in the playoffs. So I am the hater in the room. I will say I don't think they're real. I did qualify and let everybody know I'm biased. But can one man, although he has been Superman, can one man carry all that weight for an entire organization, or are the Ravens doomed?
I think they definitely are legit. I think they're they're kind of an unsung hero. They basically, Lamar Jackson's carrying the whole offense for sure. But the good thing about it is Harbaugh has created a whole system around maximizing his skills. Now, it's crazy how resilient he is, how many hits he takes. So I'm hoping that he stays healthy. But the defense, Baltimore has a legacy of hardcore defense, and last week they're starting to look like the defense of old. Not close to it, but they're resembling. So if that defense can continue on, I think they're going to be a legit contender. Knock out your Breveland Clowns.
See, the hate continues, man. We are the fallen leaves, man. That's all. That's cool.
Hey.
Yeah, that was pretty good. You know what? I ain't got no witty comeback on that one. You studied that one. I got to give me a second. By the end of the show, I'm gonna have a comeback.
Decent. I see a shirt. Let's talk after the show. I see a shirt with that
Trademark.
Yeah, real quick. Hold on. Don't air this shit. Take this off before we
They
get
said
to
you
our
ain't got
people.
no haters, you ain't popping, baby. Make the shirt. We popping right now, baby. The Browns popping. What you got for a Big Flow show? I mean, Lamar Jackson is doing everything, man.
The problem is this, and this is the problem year in, year out with them, is that everybody has a bad week. And it seems like every year he goes popping through the season and he catches a bad or a mediocre week in the playoffs and he just can't get it done. And nobody steps up and he gets them every year. If he can get hot, hopefully he can get a couple bad weeks like next week, the week after, where it doesn't really matter as much. And then he can get through it out of his system. But it just seems like he has that bad week and nobody can step up, man. It's terrible. It's too bad. I like him, though. I would love to see him go all the way. I would love to see that.
His
We
composure.
were trying to figure out who the second best running back was in the NFL. At one point, we thought it was Lamar Jackson, but he also is he's the 7th overall in terms of QBR rating. He's on pace to throw nearly 4,500 yards, which for a man, sticking with the analogy, a fallen leaf that they said could not play quarterback in the NFL. He's doing just that. He's playing quarterback in the NFL.
Pulling it out.
He balling, man. So I hope he has more than a few bad weeks, especially when he plays Cleveland. But I do like to watch someone who the they sayer said couldn't do it, absolutely do it. Week 6 recap has to include that team that I said would be in the NFC Championship. How about them Cowgirls? I know we all hate the person. Just if you close your eyes right now and you think obnoxious Cowboys fan, you got so many different people that come to mind. Like, we don't know people that are just Cowboy fans and can like their team. We all know obnoxious human beings that just
none of them live
in
Texas, and none of them live in Texas.
Never lived in Texas. They call themselves America Team. You can find a Cowboys fan in any city, in any alley of any city, under any rock, they don't die, they multiply like baby kids, especially when they have the audacity to win a few games. And yet they won another game. I thought they got a lot of help winning that particular game, but they won another game. And it looked as though Bill Belichick and his coaching prowess would overcome the Cowboys, but the talent prevailed. Trayvon Diggs in this game against New England last week, he ties Rod Woodson for most interceptions in the first 6 games of the season. He's got 7. The young man is balling.
Stop on his way.
Please. And some of them, he got one-handed interception. This brother is balling, man. So I got to give it up to they finally have somebody in their defensive backfield that looks like he wants to stop people from scoring. You know, for the Cowboys forever, their DBs were horrible. But now they got a DB. And he's not just a DB, he's the DB in the NFL right now because he's leading. It ties Rod Woodson for the most interceptions, leading the NFL. But are the Cowgirls legit? And I said Cowgirls on purpose because that's the only way I know how to fight the fandom and the fanatics off is just to keep calling them Cowgirls. But I got to admit that they look pretty good. Dak Prescott, should he be, as of today, leading candidate to win the MVP? Compiled 567 yards against the Patriots. Most ever against Bill Belichick by any team, playoffs or regular season.
Though. Come on, this team is trash this year.
They're trash, but no one else has done it. He's had trash teams before and they've been able to stop them.
So what? They're trash. We're giving
567 yards. Come on, man. Is Dak Prescott? And I don't want to say I told you so because I hate being right when it comes to the Cowboys. I can't stomach it, man. It's messing up my relationship with my big brother. I don't even want to call my big brother.
We've seen this so many times before. You keep acting like we haven't seen this before. Right. And it starts like this. You're a Browns fan. You understand how this works. It's exciting for a while. The leaves fall off. He gets tired. They mess up. And then they lose. That's the reason why we love to hate the Cowboys. It's never because they're trash completely. They should never have an excuse for being trash. They just find a way to steal defeat out of the jaws of victory. Just wait. Why are you being so impatient? The Cowboys will show you who they are. You know what time the show starts.
Are you agreeing with this? I hope you're right, but I think you're wrong. I
you
hope
know
you're
what?
right, but I think you're wrong. My heart says, please be right. But my eyes and my head, my brain, what I see just won't allow me to just disregard this team. And 567 yards against a Bill Belichick coach team. Yo, man, Dak Prescott clowning out here, man. What do you think, ETP?
Yeah, you know, I'm always a fan of the underdog. You know, that's why I respect you for your resilience as a Browns fan.
Yes.
Cowboys they experienced so much success in the 90s that they're like the only underdog that I can't respect. Like, it's just so hard to have sympathy. But at the same time, Dak, I'd like to see it. I don't know if he's injured this week, so I can't. The narrative, they gotta prove something. It's too early, and I'm in the same boat where they've done so much over the past decade or more to just prove that they don't want to win. They want to win, but then when there's an option, when they can really go over the hump,
they find the opportunity.
They're like, you know what? I think this is gonna be my stop. They like the
Tony
SpongeBob
Romo
meme. Like, all right, I'm gonna head out.
Right. Tony Romo will muff holding a PAT or something. They'll figure out a way to lose. But I don't know, man. They look talented. It's going to be tough for them to figure out a way to lose.
Always talented. When have they ever not been talented?
They've always had the most talent. Always.
Exactly. That's the part you love. Like the Yankees.
All right. Well, hey, look.
They're the Yankees of football, and I hate the Yankees. So
when it happens, just prepare yourself for that annoying human being. Whoever came to mind when you close your eyes, and the words obnoxious Cowboys fan. When I say those words, there are people that come to mind. Those people are going to get the last laugh this year, man. They got a good team. And I hate that they're going to get the last laugh. I hate that I can't just call my big brother. The last
laugh, is that you saying Super Bowl last laugh?
No. Last laugh in the sense. Look, I think they're Cowboys fans.
They've been to the NFC Championship before. They've been
I know,
there.
but look, they haven't been there recently. And I think the Cowboys fans are starving. You know, we talk about photosynthesis. They're starving for sunlight and water. And they want some success. An NFC Championship appearance is success. That's success.
Have they been in the NFC Championship
That's the Final Four.
Have they been this century? Have they been to the NFC Championship this century?
Yes.
Yeah.
When?
Yes.
Or no, they almost made it when Des Bryant, they ruled it wasn't a catch, right?
I thought that was the
game before the game.
Championship.
That was that was the division.
So they haven't been to the Super Bowl since I was in college, or since B was in college. B got 2 kids. They both could hoop. Everybody wipes their own butt. It's been a lot of things have happened, but I don't think they've been to the NFC Championship.
2014.
NFC Championship game.
Who beat them?
That's Tony Romo led team. I don't remember who beat them.
Oh no, that's when they became the NFC. They won the NFC East.
Ooh, you guys went to the Playboy. You guys went to the playoffs. Ooh, in 2014. Ooh, you guys are tough. So they haven't been in the NFC Championship since '95. Come on,
1996, man. January 14th, 1996.
So my statement is true. Then I think the Cowboys fans, Cowgirls, are going to be very happy when they make it to the NFC Championship game. They
should take that as their Super Bowl if they do that. But I bet
they take everything as their Super Bowl. Remember that person.
I'll take the field. Who's betting? Who's taking bets? Put a comment in there if you're taking bets. I'll take the field.
You don't take the field. NFC, you're taking the rest of the NFC.
Yeah.
All right. I would say this.
I'll take the Browns to be the NFC champion before.
You go ahead and make fun of us all you want.
I think the odds are better.
When we win the Super Bowl, when we win the Super Bowl, I don't want to hear. Don't be backtracking and moonwalking like Michael Jackson out of all of this hate. I want you to
get
stay
LeBron.
in your hate.
Unless y'all get LeBron,
you got to eat it all up.
Winning the championship. LeBron James had to come back and play for y'all.
LeBron James shouted out D. Ernest last night. He said D. Ernest out there on one. Yeah, D. Ernest was on one. D apostrophe Ernest.
$10 in Starbucks gift card to whoever knows where D. Ernest went to college.
Who do you see? Come on, man.
Oh yeah, he's Florida boy, so you know.
Yeah, you know. The man's name is D. Ernest.
Yeah, he had to be from Florida, Antoine. Of course.
Yeah. Hey, look, man, you got to be happy for the young man, though, right?
Absolutely.
And I said UCF. He went to USF, South Florida.
See?
So even I messed it up.
But you know what? I couldn't question you because I never heard of it.
You couldn't question me. But USF, not UCF. Sorry. I messed up the letters. But he did play ball in Florida. He did ball out. He broke all kind of records. And they said it on the telecast last night. He ran a 4.8 coming out. Despite the numbers statistically, he ran a 4.8. And they were saying that on the telecast, the broadcast was like, 4.8. Oh, yeah, some offensive linemen, a lot of offensive linemen run that. And then my kids, because they weren't asleep yet, this was the beginning of the game. This was before the man ran for 146 with a tutty with 6.6 average per carry and became a household name overnight, Ernest. The broadcasters are talking about how he ran a 4.8 in the 40. And my kids like, oh, man, they laughing. And my oldest son's like, oh, man, that's slow, this, that, and the other. And I said to them, but it's the wonky people that use metrics like a 40 who never played the game making stupid decisions. I bet the kid's gonna be a great player if he had those numbers at USF. This is before he ran for the 146 now.
Quietly,
and he went and balled out.
Impressive though. You only got 4.8 in the gun, and you can get this while the world watching.
Shifty though, 4.8 in the gun, but he was shifty, man. He ran north and south, one move. He ran very aggressive, shoulders north and south. He ran. It was honestly, it's the way that the running back position used to look. It has changed a little bit these days because they're like running back / receivers. But the moral of the story is, in this episode of Fallen Leaves, right? His opportunity to run a good 40 was a fallen leaf. His opportunity to be drafted high in the NFL draft was a fallen leaf. But thank God for him. Because the man was working on a fishing boat just 3 years ago. Thank God for him that he remained strong. He remained confident in himself, that he kept working hard. After the game, they put a microphone in front of him, and he was the most humble young man that you could imagine. He said, I'm just thankful for this opportunity. And because of that, new leaves are on that tree. But the tree was resilient. Get him, Ernest. Good old Ernest. All right. I got to talk about other NFL stories, man. I could talk about that all day. Because DK Metcalf, somebody who ran a much faster 40. Someone who looks like he was born literally to play the game. Like someone drew him. At the end of the game, he fumbled and didn't go out of bounds. And one of his teammates recovered the fumble. But I guess he traded shots with Uncle Shay. And it was a pretty interesting exchange. Uncle Shannon just basically was like, yo, that was pretty dumb. And for some strange reason, DK Metcalf felt compelled to call him a clown or something. And then Shannon, Shannon always keep in his back pocket his resume. Shannon was like, you better hope you had a career that I have, yada, yada, yada. Was the exchange just, and we talked on this show, how there's a thin line between love and hate when it comes to former players covering current players. And how a lot of times there are personal exchanges because former players are used to, if we can't agree, we could buck. But Shannon Sharp, did he have a point talking about his career? Or should he just shut up? Because at the end of the day, at this point in his life, his job is to cover sports and not necessarily play sports. Who do you think is right? Who do you think is wrong? It's always interesting to see a social media exchange between two sports personalities. DK Metcalf is, I think, has a beautiful career in front of him. But Shannon Sharp says, you better pray you have the career that I had. What say you guys, man?
I think Sharp is correct. I got to go with the old man. First of all, if I got the cadence right, I think Sharp just said, that was a bad play or something like that. Oh, no, he said, what was he thinking, right?
What was he thinking? Right.
What was he thinking? Then he came back and attacked him, and he said, done play. Now, listen, if you can't handle as an NFL player someone questioning a play that you make where you feel like you have to attack the person, he said, what are you thinking? That was a stupid play. I don't care what you go out of bounds. Everybody in America thinks go out of bounds. You try to run a dude over, the ball's in bounds, then you fumble, whatever. What did you think? It was pretty mild. So now you're going to tell him, sit down, little boy. Sit down, little boy. Are you kidding me? I'm a grown man, a Hall of Famer. I'm not somebody who you're talking some little kid, that little intern that just came up here. You call me a little boy. You know how we take that in the community. That's the biggest disrespect you could do is to call somebody, especially your elder, a little boy, tell him to sit down. He said, man, hope you could be like me. I agree. Shannon Sharp did what he's supposed to do. Now you got to take the microphone off and do whatever and talk to him like you would talk to him on the street. I think he did the right thing every step of the way.
Yeah, I don't know how he could even stand by that performance, right? It wasn't there was no excuse for it. It wasn't a mistake and he fumbled, right? He was supposed to go out of bounds. It literally cost them the game. If he had gone out of bounds, they get to kick the field goal, maybe get to win the game. He didn't only not go out of bounds, but he also fumbled. And at the end of the day, Shannon Sharp's one, top 2-3 greatest tight ends that ever played the game of football. But he's a media personality. He called him out for not understanding the situation and ultimately cost them the game. So he clearly just, it's the egotism, and you have to maintain that defensiveness and think that you're always great in order to perform at that level. So I get it, but when you're so ignorant and resistant to criticism, this is what happens. But there's no question, nobody that knows the game, nobody that doesn't know the game is going to be able to sit there and defend his actions in that situation.
Y'all getting old, man. I'm going to say this. If you're going to be a media personality, Shannon Sharp, Charles Barkley, I go down the list of greats that all of a sudden they just become sensitive. If you could dish it out, be able to take it. You're right. He called him a little boy because he wanted to let him know, I'm disrespecting you just like you disrespect everybody else. Shannon Sharp always got something disrespectful to say to people. So stop being so sensitive, man. Y'all getting old. DK Metcalf stood behind a stupid play because at the end of the day, truth of the matter is, when it comes to football, there is a thin line between stupid and smart too. Yes, on paper, you throw the ball to the sideline and get out of bounds. DK Metcalf got in over his head because he was trying to make a play. And that is simply what you want your ball players to do. Try to make a play.
Should wrong play. He was trying to stay in bounds.
Sounds like a wide receiver
trying to make
talking.
A play.
Sound like a wide receiver talking.
Tried to make a play.
You don't
if he gets through that, because he has broken several tackles after catches and scores a touchdown, we ain't talking about this. He tried to make a play. But more importantly, because you're right, I cannot defend the stupidity of the play. I'm saying he tried to make a play. He should not have tried to make a play. The play was stupid.
Except for the fact that you
just did.
I didn't defend. I'm not defending it in terms of that was the right thing to do.
Hey, who's paying attention anyway?
What I'm saying to you is, on a nightly basis, every time we watch football, every single game, there's going to be what we would consider something questionable that the greats try to do. He sees himself as a great. He tried to make a play. Shannon Sharp, I would argue, has done some stupid things in the spirit of believing in his own abilities. So Shannon Sharp, you got to be able to deal with the backlash. Stop being so sensitive. Charles Barkley, the same way. Always want to bring up their career. Don't bring up your career.
But why DK? So DK Metcalf doesn't have DK Metcalf can be sensitive.
I'm a bullshit flag on you.
I don't think
you don't believe anything you just said.
Because in a locker room, if you say something to me, I'm gonna say something to you.
You're knowingly lying. You don't believe what you just said. Stop talking. It's the bullshit flag. You don't believe nothing you just said to me.
I believe every bit of it. It is what it is. It's the Charles Barkleys and the Shannon Sharps of the world that are super sensitive, and they wear their career around their neck. So
when someone calls him a little boy, what was he supposed to say?
You know when you respect Shannon Sharp's career? When we talk about the all-time greats. Not when we're having an exchange based on your response to my mistake.
So what was he supposed to say when he was called a little boy?
Independent of your career, Shannon Sharp. And Charles Barkley does it a lot too. They old sensitive men. It's getting ridiculous.
Can you hear me?
I'm glad DK Metcalf took him on.
Can you hear me? Because I don't think B can hear me. What was he supposed to say back? When you called him a little boy, what was the proper thing to say as a professional sports commentator? Say what?
He could have laughed it off.
So could DJ Metcalf.
I think DK Metcalf in his initial response was essentially laughing it off.
I'll give it to DK Metcalf. I'll give it to DK Metcalf because he finally came around at the end and humbled himself and said, "You know what? It'll be great if I could have a same resume or a comparable resume to yours." But
He Googled it though. He said, "Oh, hold on
Yeah,
a second.
yeah. He's like,
a
wait,
minute.
who is this guy? I
Wait
thought
a
he was just
minute.
I thought he was just a
kinda young
muscular
still.
media
He probably-
analyst.
He was like, I was 4 when you scored the last touchdown. So hold on, man. Maybe this dude is kind of sweet. My
It's
bad.
just like these old rappers talking about how the mumble rappers don't deserve respect. Don't nobody want to hear about, look, man, we are long in the tooth. We old. Move over for these young kids. DK Metcalf said what he said, little boy. Now deal with it.
And he
Uncle
did
Shay
what he
y'all
You
did.
can't call no grown man little boy, man, and expect it not to get personal. That's
But it's
terrible.
supposed to be personal. It's intentionally personal. He's telling him,
Right.
you
So
address
hey,
me
you know what?
personally.
Both those men got up and went to work this morning. They both all right. They both did good. They did what
No,
they're
they
supposed to do.
they
They both straight.
They both are just fine. Now, I put that Super Bowl up there because it was a comment. And I'd be remiss if I didn't say it now. Please like, please comment, please share, tag a friend, tag a foe, tag anybody that you know. Please subscribe in the podcast world and on YouTube to the Ball Hawk Sports Talk. But I put that comment up there, Super Bowl, because when I visualize that obnoxious Cowboy fan, for me, it's close to home. I got a whole bunch of them. My brother and his whole family, they Cowboys, got blue and gray room in the house and all of that. And that Bruce Brown right there happens to be my nephew. What's up, nephew? I don't know if he's still watching, but he is one of the people that comes to mind when I think of obnoxious Cowboys fan. Love you to death, but y'all ain't going to no Super Bowl. NFC Championship, then y'all going home with the rest of the teams, but not my Cleveland.
And be
We
proud
gonna
of
win the
that.
Super Bowl.
Because that's an achievement for y'all. Be proud of that. When you go home at the NFC Championship game with the runner-up, with the little ribbon, be proud of that.
Yeah, they might have a parade. They're gonna have an NFC Championship parade. We made
runner-up,
it.
NFC runner-up parade.
Hey, that's the Final Four, baby.
It'll
That's
be
the
sold
Final
out.
Four. That's
It'll
the
be
Final
sold
Four. You gotta
out.
be happy with
cut the
Final
nets.
Four.
Yeah, cut down the goalpost. Bring it with you. Everybody get a little piece of the goalpost.
Hey, that would require them to humble themselves too much. You obnoxious Cowboys fans. How about them Cowgirls? All right, there was another game that came down to a very questionable decision, but this time it wasn't the player, it was the coach. The Titans and the Bills played in what was an epic Monday Night Football game. They were going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And Josh Allen was balling on one side. You had the King, Derrick Henry, balling on the other side. It came down to 4th and 1. It was a healthy one. And the Bills, inexplicably, decided to run a quarterback sneak. And they got not even, I don't think, a centimeter of what they needed. And the game was over. Was that the worst call imaginable? This is where I can't stand the what they call it, the analytics, the cybermetric people. Because there's somebody computing and doing the math. And some mathematician told the Buffalo Bills coaching staff that they should go for it. Instead of kick that field goal, play some defense, and go into overtime. Is math finally failing us in sport? They're supposed to kick the field goal, right? Why let an epic game go down like that? They're on the road. It's not even a home game. The Bills played it away.
You're supposed to go for the win at home.
Here you go, cybermetrics. I don't want to hear that, man. They're messing
Nah.
You kick the dog.
I don't know. The quarterback
You got-
sneak is the call. But if he
No.
got it, then he would have. I don't know. It's tough.
I mean, the
Go for
thing,
the
at
win.
least DK Metcalf, he clearly, that play was not called in the huddle, right? Out of the huddle, it was take
DK
your
can't get a
ass
break.
out of bounds.
That's why we're throwing to the sideline. Right.
He can't
Yeah.
get a
But
break.
in this situation, they said it's 4th and 1.99.
It was a healthy
And-
one. It was a
And,
fat
and we're
girl
not
one.
going to go to the end zone. We're going to try to get the first down at the goal line. Like, I don't care how much faith you have in your quarterback. Why, if you have that much faith in your quarterback, get it to the end zone. Run a play to get to the end zone. And then in that
RPO.
case, I could at least say, all right, they took a shot. But you're basically telling me you don't have faith in your defense. You don't have faith in many things. If you're saying we're going to go 4th and 1, you don't even have faith in your receivers to get a touchdown at the 2-yard line. You're going to put all the weight on the quarterback's back and the 3 linemen in front of him to get a first down or to get to the end zone. Like, it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I don't know. The Big Flow Show. Did you like the call or somebody in Buffalo? I ain't gonna say he got fired, But are they dusting off their resume right now, just in case?
I don't know. I like an RPO in that situation. You know, I mean, a quarterback where he could, you know, pump, run in there, get a little space, give it a chance, throw it to somebody. I don't know. Quarterback sneak on when tough on tough. I have a hard time with that. I don't know. If they had been just running down their throat all game, I don't know the running stats of that game. Maybe if they had been just running down their throats, but it's just, I don't know. Those sneaks are tough, man. You know what I mean? You never know, especially like you say, 1.9. Give me a yard.
It was a big old chunky 1 yard.
A fat 1 yard. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a big.
Yeah.
It was a big.
That's a whole body length. So now you got to get. When I'm in my stance
these days, man, are just too powerful to think that you're going to be able to. I don't know though, because Bill Belichick with Tom Brady used to do it all the time, and they would get the yard. And I would consider Tom Brady one of the least athletic quarterbacks to ever walk into an NFL locker room, but still he used to get it. Josh Allen is big, strong, fast. I hate the call after the fact, but in real time, I was thinking, oh man, that's gutsy, but I didn't think it was career ending as a coach or as an analytics guy. But after the fact, looking back on it, like, why didn't they kick the field goal? It just didn't make sense.
I appreciate the courageousness of it. I can respect it, but it was stupid. Like I can appreciate the boldness and having that confidence, but it was
kind of like DK.
It was the wrong call.
No, y'all didn't even respect his courageousness.
No, I said what he said. That was courageous.
Right.
Tell to sit down, little boy.
Little boy.
It was the wrong thing to say.
Yeah, you know how you pronounce it, little boy. That's how you pronounce that.
I don't mind going for the win. I don't mind going for the win. And because you know what, if I'm the other side of the coin. You know, like I'm like, please go for the field goal because I'm so scared they're gonna get the touchdown. You know what I mean? Get the first down score. Right. Please go for it. Give us a chance to overtime. Come on, please. So, I mean, going for the win, your situation like that, let's just try to finish the game. I like that. I mean, you lose some of those.
On the other side was a man by the name of Derrick Henry, the king. 5th straight 100+ yard game. He has 6 rushing TDs in the last 2 games. 6 of them. 10 total rushing TDs this year. Ezekiel Elliott is second with 5. So he has 2x, 2 times more than the running back who was second. That TDs. Nick Chubb is second in yards. He has 783 yards in 6 games, 260 yards more than the number 2 rusher in the NFL. As the Big Flow Show said, that is Nick Chubb with 523. But he has only played 5 games on injured reserve, so that lead will probably continue because as we struggled here on the Ball Hog Sports Talk several weeks ago to find who we would consider the second best running back in the NFL, the stats are struggling to find that person too. I mean, he balling, man. Will he break the single season rushing title in 16 games?
But we have 17 this year.
17 rather. 17 games.
For sure, absolutely.
He's been averaging 130.5 yards per game. He would need to average 131.6 yards per game the rest of the way in order to break it. And week 1 was the anomaly. He ran for 58 yards. But he's balled since. He played against Seattle, the Colts, the Jets, Jacksonville, and Buffalo. At least 3 of those are supposed to be good. At least 2 of those are supposed to be good defense.
He's going to give you a couple 200-yard games, though, this season. A couple of them.
But if he breaks the record by number in 17 games, are they gonna say that he broke the record?
Yeah, because
he used to be right.
I think so.
No, there's no asterisk.
At one point, the playoff stats didn't count, and then they started counting those. I don't think they put an asterisk next to it. I think that
there used to be a 12-game season. And all those records went down, and then it went to 16 games. They never change it. They add the games, and you just act like we're not supposed to see that.
Yeah, I think the historians are charged with knowing the difference. But
if he doesn't break it in 16, if he doesn't break the record in 16, is it a real broken record?
Being it's the first year of the 17, it seems a little bit more asterisk-y, right? This year, like 2 or 3 years from now, people will be like, nah, remember they used to play 16 games, you know what I mean? But like just now, I want to see you do it at 16, but I think he could do it at 16.
Yeah,
I think he could do it.
I'd like to see it. He's a monster.
Yeah,
he is a monster. He's fun to watch because somebody that big, being that nimble, he's like a combination of Jim Brown, Marcus Allen, and some like scat back. He's got all of it. He is just enough moves to be like, wait a minute, that big dude just did that.
He has run the
watch,
fastest. He has clocked the fastest speed on the field this year by any player, and he's 247 pounds.
And arms long can touch the ground. He's a monster.
Yeah, he's crazy. He is.
Let's see what and he is saving the position.
Yeah,
he's single-handedly saving the position and continuing to have value in a position that has become almost like, you know, two Twizzlers and a bus pass. We just give away running backs, but not Derrick Henry. Ain't nobody giving
MVP.
MVP. He's balling that way, man. So shout out. We'll see with the Titans because they came in with all of this hoopla. They haven't looked dominant, but that performance against a Buffalo team that has played well all season, I think might be the catalyst for them to make a good run. We shall see. Urban Meyer in this episode of Fallen Leaves.
Caught him a dub.
Fallen Leaves. Just 2 short weeks ago, everybody was looking at a particular video and trying to figure out where that man's thumb finger was. He was a fallen leaf.
He good now, though. Man, nobody tripping.
But he has remained strong. He had this amazing influx of irrigation and sun by way of John Gruden that supplanted the Urban Meyer story. And now Ed Orgeron is added to it as well. He's remained strong. The photosynthesis has occurred. The tree has survived winter, and Urban Meyer is seeing new leaves because he has led the Jacksonville Jaguars to their first win in 20 games and snapped a losing streak that seemed like it would never be snapped. Go ahead, Urban Meyer.
Winning heals all wounds.
Right.
He's fine now. He's good. It's in the past. Unless it's something else drops, it's in the past. Nobody cares.
I wouldn't be surprised if said young lady was at the post-game interview and they went out for drinks afterwards. All is forgotten.
You think he flew back with the team?
I bet he flew back.
Was he on the road or home?
I don't know if he was on the road. Look, I am proud to say I don't have no idea where Jacksonville Jaguars play on a weekly basis.
He's going to get Coach of the Year if he wins another game.
If he just win one more. 2 and 15, Coach of the Year. Aaron Rodgers, somehow Discount Double Check keeps on doing it, man. They got blown out in week 1. And here on the Ball Hawk Sports Talk, I said the end is near because it's just so tainted in the locker room. He doesn't want to be there. He's playing like he doesn't want to be there. The Packers have not really drafted and built a team around him. Okay. And then lo and behold, a few weeks later, the don't look down, but Discount Double Check. And that Green Bay Packers is 5-1. What do you have to say, Bears fan?
Next story.
I have a question.
I know.
Big shows. How do you so being a Chicagoan, how does it? You got a new neighbor. You have a new neighbor in Aaron Rodgers, right? He holds property in Chicago now. He's a property owner. He owns the Chicago Bears.
You know, the worst thing is he seems like such a corny dude. Like he likes Jeopardy, but then he talks shit on you, and it's like that's even worse. He's like a nerd. I still own you.
I still own you. Just in case you thought that this was new, no, I still own you. And a hot mic caught it. He's like he is the nerdy
22
dude. 22
and 5 against us. Retire. Trade him. Hurt him.
You were so excited when we talked about this the bad blood between him and the worst front office. Remember how excited you were?
I keep it 100, man. It's not even a rivalry anymore. It's Notre Dame Navy.
It's bullying.
You know what I mean? They whoop us all the time. It's bullying. It's 2021. It's bullying. Something should be addressed. He's a bully. He should be canceled. Let's cancel Aaron Rodgers. I'm gonna fight the campaign. Cancel Aaron Rodgers. He's a bully. Hey,
just start a rumor, man. Say he said something inappropriate. Just start
a rumor. He said he owned us. Start a rumor. Inappropriate.
Human trafficking. He is human trafficking.
We're just trying to say he was talking to a kid. We're going to say he was talking to a kid.
Reuse the Urban Meyer video, but transpose him into it or something and make it Aaron Rodgers. Do something, but you got to go quick. Because
Aaron Rodgers, you're a jerk. No one likes you.
nanny boo boo.
Handing your keys to the stadium. You are no
Nobody
longer
likes that.
you are no longer welcome at Soldiers Field.
I
heard it
still
before
own
they
you.
said it. I was like, did this just say I still own you?
Yes, he did.
It's like
Yes,
I'm back.
he did.
Like you know what? I was tired of being here, but after this game, I'm back.
Yeah,
Right.
I
Back.
still own you.
I like it here now.
Do we think Green Bay's for real? Thumbs up,
No.
thumbs down. Are they for real? They're 5-1, and I didn't think that they would be. Are they for real?
If the Dallas Cowboys are real, the Green Bay Packers are supernaturally real.
Neither of them is going to make it.
Which one you hate? Both of them. So we'll see, man. But we talk about these relationships and fallen leaves, and there's a relationship that has truly fallen from its grace. There's a leaf that is being walked over, that's been trampled on, that's being completely figured out how you're going to disregard it. And that leaf, that fallen leaf, is the relationship between Ben Simmons and the 76ers, that front office. And this week's episode of Light Skin Ben is acting real light skin. I'm just joking. We do not believe in colorism here on the Ball Hawk Sports Talk.
Yes, you do.
Yeah, I do. That's the dark of the threes. The dark brother of the threes. But Ben acting real light skin, y'all. Sensitive. The man went to practice with his phone in his pocket. I don't know much about NBA practice.
I didn't know practice pants in the NBA had pockets.
Yeah.
For what?
Yeah.
I tell you what it's not for. It's not for your phone. And
Pockets for what?
Some telling me he was recording every interaction. I think he's trying to find his way out, because why do you have your phone in your pocket during practice?
Hanging out your pocket. Hanging out your pocket.
Why is there a pocket in the practice pants? Somebody got to come back to me with that. If you know, type it in the comments. Why do they make practice? We don't have no pockets in the football pants in practice. What you need to bring out to practice?
I don't know. But then Doc Rivers, who happens to be the head coach of the 76ers, asked Ben, who's acting real light-skinned, to go participate in a defensive drill. And Ben, who was acting real light-skinned, looked back at Doc Rivers, who's the head coach of the 76ers, like, you must have lost your damn mind. I ain't defense. He took it a whole nother level. Iverson, right? He took that to practice. You talking about practice?
Iverson was there.
Hey,
you know what? So if you compare it to Allen Iverson, at least he was at the practice.
No, he took it a step further, because obviously he had his phone in his pocket. So he was thinking, he was embodying that
expecting a call.
Practice. You talking about practice? But then he took it a step further. Defense? I ain't doing no defensive drill. And he was summarily dismissed at that point.
And he needed to be notified when his food got there.
Is there any chance of photosynthesis, the recovery of this relationship? Is there, something to, and we talked about management, his management. Somebody is misguiding this man.
Yeah.
I'm sorry,
Rich
Ben.
Paul,
You look horrible.
Rich Paul need to be out there running suicides. They need to get Rich Paul in practice, running suicides till they figure out a solution.
I'm usually pro player.
He went to the safe place to be nowadays. He went to the twisties. He went to mental health. He said, I don't know if my mental health is sufficient enough to be here right now.
Well, it's an interesting question, right? Because as a man saying that, it's being dismissed, right?
Laughed off. Yes, it is.
But obviously, his performance in the playoffs and just the way that he's conducted himself, I would imagine there's some level of mental health aspect to this. Right?
That boy crazy. That's what you're saying? That boy crazy.
Performance anxiety. They got pills for it.
Yeah. There's something. There's some mental, emotional
blue pill is what you're saying. He needs a blue pill
issue. Yeah, he needs the blue. Get out the matrix.
I'm not going down there. I was gonna go. I'm not doing it.
I help you out, man. Pass the baton to me.
Yes, you do it, because I'm not going there.
Something's wrong with him, man. He needs it. I believe this. You know what? Go ahead, sir.
No, but I mean, it's the mental health side. It's real, right? But that being said, it doesn't excuse him for his actions. But I don't think he's mentally prepared to play. I don't think he's mentally prepared to practice. He's showing up with his phone in his pocket. He's moping around. He won't do the breakdown of the huddle. Like he's acting very childish in a situation that there's millions and millions, about 40 of them at stake in this situation, and they're not coming to a mature professional resolution. So clearly there's an issue, and he's making it worse. No matter what issues the Philadelphia 76ers created, he's making it worse, and he's basically pushing everything off a cliff.
I like kind of, I'm pro player normally, but I like how the president said, "Look, I just hold on to him for 4 years.
4
in
years.
4 years from now, if you don't play, your career is over. Once it's over, you're not going to go on and ride off into the sunset." He's like, "I'm not trading him for trash. I'm not going to just dump this $40 million thing for some role players. If you're not going to give me some real, everybody, okay, I'm out my $40 million. You can talk about that all you want, but you're in 4 years from now, if he doesn't play in the NBA, he's done. He's gonna go over. He's gonna go back to the Australia leagues and play over there."
Daryl Morey with that statement was big flexing, but the truth of the matter is someone will offer a lot for Ben Simmons.
If they don't,
and I need to get my designation because I can diagnose exactly what this is. This is called being soft. Give me the MD now. It's called being soft. And you said mental health is real. Yeah. You know what's real? Charles Oakley was real. Ben Wallace was real. Dennis Rodman was real. Just tough dudes that just wanted to play basketball. There's nothing real about this soft, light-skinned moment that we are seeing.
Stop it. We'll lose viewers. Most of our viewers light-skinned.
I'm just saying. I'm just pointing it out.
You outnumbered, man.
We're describing it. It's description. You got to use adjectives in order to really describe a story. This light-skinned brother is soft. He listens to Drake on the way to practice. I know he does. One of those singing Drake hooks. You know he does. This is just too soft, man. It's just too soft. And I hate to see it go this way, but this is where we are now.
You're saying somebody's going to offer a lot. They've gotten offered a lot already, and they turned it down, right? So the Sixers have a perceived value.
What was a good offer?
I believe the Blazers offered McCollum and some draft picks. There's been some substantial offers put forward, but I guess the question is if what they've gotten to date hasn't been sufficient for the executive team of the Philadelphia 76ers, is it going to get better?
Yes.
Watching Ben Simmons operate like this, it's going to get better.
Who wants to understand?
It's going to get better.
It's going to get better. Because this is just a new age, right? This is the social media way that people negotiate things. Rich Paul is a byproduct of this new, we got to be out front and be very outspoken about our discontent. That's just the way things are. You look at over the last several years, there have been several great players, including James Harden, that have orchestrated their own exit out of an organization.
But what did the Rockets get for James Harden? Like, none of these players that have gotten out of their deal got another superstar in return.
Daryl Morey was just flexing. You are not about to pay all that money for somebody to not play. He's just flexing. If with the right offer comes, Ben Simmons is on the first thing smoking, and because the way he's acting, they probably gonna put him on a
He didn't say that. He didn't say
he
different.
Said the right offer.
The right offer. He said, "I'm just not trading for role players," and I agree with him. I'm not gonna let you steal him because he's acting like this. I'm not gonna let you.
I know, but the definition of role players, because CJ McCollum, depending on how you define it, CJ McCollum is not the number one on that team. Is he a role player? He's the Batman to a Robin. Excuse me, he's a Robin to a Batman, right? Because it is what it is, right? Dame is the Batman. CJ McCollum is a Robin. Do you consider that a role player? The definition of role player, I think, is where I want to say Daryl Morey is just flexing,
take that
and he's got to take something, because if not, you ain't gonna pay nobody to not play. That's just not the way it works.
Stop feeling sorry for him. Thank you. Take that cut. It's terrible.
Yeah,
he's got a batted wife. He can't shoot a jumper. He's not a bad wife.
The problem is Ben Simmons is making his own situation worse. He wants to leave, but he will not show any value to accelerate a trade option for another team. It's so simple. I said it last week. All he had to do was show up and look like he wants to play, take a few jump shots, dive for a loose ball, play 5 games. And by then, the offers will get better. There will be options. The market will open up. But if he keeps doing this, they already set the bar too high. And he is creating a situation in his actions off the court that are reducing the perceived value. I don't see somebody coming and saying, you know what? Maybe the Nets are like, fine, you could have Kyrie Irving. Maybe that happens.
Maybe, right?
They need, hey, what's the vaccine status?
We'll go
Hell
one for
nah.
one. I'll trade
Yeah,
you.
like you want a problem, we don't want a problem.
Let's go.
We know what problems are.
Right.
Let's trade them. New problems are better than old problems, but problems are problems. Let's
All right,
go.
simple answer, yes or no, because I'm going to recuse myself. I don't think I'm qualified to answer this question. You two get to answer it, yes or no. Is Ben Simmons acting real light skinned?
No. Stop saying it.
Yo, I'm offended. Now I'm offended.
The first 7 times, I was like, he's tripping. But
Yeah,
nah, you're
I
right.
thought you were joking before, but you're leaning in on this.
No, man. You're gonna get
And I'm so outnumbered
Yeah.
because the research team likes
boycott Bobby Brown, man.
Your
Boycott
implicit
Bobby
bias has
Brown.
become explicit.
All right, so look, because we talk about Ben Simmons, and Ben Simmons was one of the names, along with Kyrie, that did not make the NBA top 75. We're celebrating 75 years of NBA.
Shut
so
up.
They come up.
Don't say that again. He just not one that didn't make it. Not even
He didn't make it.
Ever. Nah, I didn't make it either. If you're gonna say that, Ben Simmons
I
not
can't
even.
believe
He wasn't. His name wasn't thrown around.
I don't
It was
think he was on the
close.
ballot.
Didn't make the
It was
list.
close.
course
Ben
not.
Simmons almost made it. He almost
he
made
didn't.
it. But no, look, I think it is surprising that Kyrie didn't make it. Right? I was surprised that Kyrie didn't make it. Who are the biggest snubs? The NBA 75, which is actually the 76.
Kyrie hasn't played. When's Kyrie played a full season? Like it's been like 4 years.
said one
since he's
good
played a full
season.
Oh, come on, stop now.
And he
Kyrie
says it-
was the biggest reason why the
sure, 4
Cleveland
years ago.
Cavaliers took on Goliath.
What, 4 or 5
As the
years
David.
ago?
So 1 year. So 1 year, you could say Kyrie was a big.
He had the biggest shot in the series. To be
Okay,
honest,
1
they're
year.
saying that that's the only the championship that defines
and he's-
LeBron's career.
He's since recanted and said he wished he
You're
missed
right.
the shot. Right, he recanted the shot. I didn't know you.
But
could
he
do
hasn't
that.
played a full season since then.
The
Well,
reason
he
he
hasn't
said
done
that is
anything.
because the
This
world
is one
is flat,
accomplishment.
man. You tripping.
This is one accomplishment.
You tripping.
He tried to put it out. You know what I'm saying?
He just wanted the choice. He wanted the choice to miss the shot. That's what he said. He wanted to maintain the choice.
I just think. I don't think it's whatever. I was surprised that.
It's his choice. It's his choice if he makes it.
choice, my man.
He's like,
I was
listen.
surprised
I don't
about
want
Vince
to. I don't
Carter.
want anything to do with any shots ever again.
Yeah. I wish I missed that shot. Who says
No
that?
game-winning
Who
shots.
says
No
that?
vaccine
You
shots.
don't get to be on the list. You don't get to be on the list if you say you wish you missed the shot. If I know
man.
what I know now, I wish I missed. You don't.
Oh,
get to
man,
be
we
on
got
the
to
list.
hold on. I got to pause for the cause, man. Local shout out, man. He says St. Cheek goes down tonight. I'm a Cobra, but I'm rooting for the hood tonight. And so you all know.
Man, this is our show, man. Don't come.
I know, but you need to understand what's going on in the state of football, which is the state of Florida. There are 2 teams playing tonight. The illustrious St. Thomas Aquinas of the greater Fort Lauderdale, Florida, is taking on an undefeated Dillard High School. Dillard High, my Dillard High. Shout out to my late, great mama, Betty Brown. That was her alma mater where she went to school. Dillard High, my Dillard High, which is in the center of the city of Fort Lauderdale. And as some novices might call it, they say that's the black school. It ain't the black school. It's a great school.
light-skinned school.
It's a great school with a great history, and this rivalry, and I would call it a real rivalry, has produced some of the greatest players out of South Florida. Patrick Bonner went to Boyd Anderson, which was my home school, and did some great things against them. But I am picking St. Thomas tonight in an upset. I don't think Dillard has allowed anybody to score on them. So it's a big high school football game down in South Florida. Just so you know, although I'm away, I'm in the know. Let's go St. Thomas. We set the standard. Raiders on 3. That's how we going to do it, y'all. What's up, my man, Big Cam Davis in the house? Yeah, man. Hey, y'all. Hey, you know what it is. I hate that I can't be at the game. But we going with St. Thomas in what might be a blowout.
Cam, you look light-skinned. You should cancel this dude.
Big Cam is absolutely like Big Cam and I grew up together.
He here watching me and Ellis. Cam, I feel you. You
he
here
watching.
me
He
and
staying
Ellis.
with the light
You not
skin
here for
contingent.
me.
Patrick Bonner light skin too, man.
Welcome
I don't
back.
know what.
Both y'all.
Hey, man, I'm with it, baby. Hey,
Both y'all.
I'm
You know where he
amongst my brethren. I'm
Boo
amongst
his
my
ass.
brethren.
Boo
That's what
him. Boo him in the comments.
We're gonna see what St. Thomas does tonight, man. St. Thomas, don't make me look bad, man. I put a little wager. I don't bet a lot of money,
man.
I put a
You
little
gotta
wager.
explain for all of those who are watching who are less melanated than we are and think that this is some craziness going on. This is all in fun. Deep down inside, Bobby's jealous.
I thought you were going to say
It's
deep down
just-
inside Bobby's light skin.
But it's all in fun, man. We don't mean
Yes,
that.
it's all in fun. Y'all don't cancel us because we like to have a little bit of fun.
We like a little fun.
The notable
I don't think
omissions.
Bobby's having fun. He's serious, man.
Bobby mad as hell.
He mad. Hey, I'm mad. I'm getting.
Is Dapper Dan
jumped
light
by the
skin?
light skin.
I can't tell.
No, Dapper Dan the dark skin. Hey, but look, hey, so in the top 75, which is not even 75, it's 76 because we live in this everybody gets a trophy. But they said that there was a tie for the last spot. So there are 76 people in the top 75, which I don't understand.
They should have had them play one-on-one. You can't have 76 in a 75th anniversary list. Throw the whole list in the garbage.
Who's the last two people?
Garbage.
He draws so much attention to who they are because now I want to know who came in 75, 76.
Right, who was
Now
75?
it's
They
like
won't tell you
now we
who
gotta
that
find
was.
out who is tied for 75.
It's like Mr. Irrelevant
76.
from the NFL
Yeah,
draft.
Right.
I still got drafted. Stop
Yeah.
it. You trying to
You gonna call me? Hey, but Mr. Relevant gets a nice vacation. Notable omissions in the top 75, which is really 76. Kyrie, who we talked about, Dwight Howard, Vince Carter, Chris Mullin, Klay Thompson, Tracy McGrady, Dikembe Mutombo, Alex English. Of those people, or pick your own, vote for your own. And please, Ball Hawk Sports Talk, y'all chime in too. Who is not in that top 75, which is really 76? So they would be 77. Who should be in the top 75, which
Vince
is really
Carter.
76, which means they at least
Insanity,
77.
baby.
Vince
Light
Carter.
skin. Team light
Vince
skin,
Carter,
baby.
He played for 77 years. He's top
He
12
said he
scorer
played
in
for
scores.
77.
7 years. Him and
Shout out to
Methuselah.
them Florida boys. Vince Carter, baby. You know what
Him
it
and
is.
Methuselah went to high school together. And this dude's got 12th in scoring, and you're not in the top 76. Are you kidding me? He had so many eras where he balled out. He brought Vinsanity around the globe. He played in all that. How is he not in it?
Yeah, it's
I mean,
tough.
but you can make the same argument for Tracy McGrady. He didn't play as long, but time he did
That's
play.
the only thing that stops Tracy McGrady. He didn't play that long.
Tracy McGrady scoring phenomenon, but I'm not sold on McGrady. Vince
Dwight Howard
the thing-
still playing. If it's longevity, Dwight Howard's still playing.
You know what? It's that level of softness he showed the first time he was at the Lakers that hurt his legacy. He coming back doing role playing type stuff now, but that first time he went to the Lakers, I think killed him.
Very fair.
That's softness. He's not
Anybody on that list stick out to you, ETP? Before we move on,
nobody on this, nobody that was omitted should bump anybody that's on the 76 best players.
The 76ers.
So I don't.
Why they just said call him the 76ers? Ben Simmons
Yeah.
could have been on.
They wait till next year. We're not going to make a decision. We'll do it next year on the 76th anniversary. No, I'm nobody that's on the list should be replaced by anybody that was omitted. I would have loved to see Vince Carter. I mean, he was a superstar. And then he also, what was great about Vince Carter is he played whatever role he needed to play for his team for the 39 years that he played in the league. Like
the real question is, do you think Vince Carter practiced with a phone in his pocket?
Absolutely. A rotary phone.
He had a cell phone.
Yeah, a rotary phone.
He had a stenographer,
was
telegraph.
One of them big block phones. Remember the
Yeah,
big old block?
he was holding a suitcase with
He had a
the
300-foot
cell
phone cord. He had a 300-foot phone cord that was in his pocket. And he was rolling
fax
around.
machine, all that. AOL dial-up.
Hey, well, it is NBA season officially. This was the opening week. Anybody stand out to you? It's early, but never too early for
I
predictions.
don't even like the question.
Who's going to be MVP? Defensive player of the year? Who's going to be the champs? Most improved? Rookie of the year? Scoring title? First time All-Stars? First time All-Stars definitely going to be LaMelo Ball. Because he clowning. Clowning.
He did it.
He did it. He balled out, man. He straight up balling. Anybody else stand out in week one? I know it's early in NBA, and it's tough because on the same night, you got Thursday night football. You had college football last night. You had NBA basketball last night, and you had NFL basketball last night. And I'm imagining it had to be some baseball on. I didn't watch it, but it had to be some baseball.
Yes, it's still baseball season. Dodgers
play every
saved their season.
The only
Dodgers
thing we're
saved their
missing is
season.
that,
It's 3-2.
because that season ended.
Are
We're gonna
the
get
Red
to
Sox still in there or they out? Because you've been quiet.
They are. Game 6 tonight. If they
You don't
lose,
feel
they're
good
out.
about it. Okay, you don't feel that good about
It's
it.
on the road. It's in Houston. So
He
we'll see.
feels
It's
so
been-
good about it that he wore a Celtics hat today.
Hey, like I said, man, we knocked the Yankees out of the playoffs. Anything after that is gravy. So
I
we'll
want to
see.
disrespect the Celtics, but unfortunately, y'all lost to the Knicks. And if I disrespect the Celtics, that means I got to say something positive about the Knicks. And the Knicks are the closest thing that you're going to find to the Cowboys. Close your eyes and imagine some obnoxious, annoying Knicks fans. Yes, those are all the people that I call my neighbors. Love y'all. Let me borrow some brown sugar. But y'all annoying. I'm sorry.
Light brown sugar.
I said it. I said it. Y'all don't throw no eggs at my house. I can't stand the Knicks.
Keep your eye on the Warriors. Keep your eye on the Warriors. They don't even have Klay Thompson back. Steph Curry scored 40 points in a preseason game, scored 45 last night, hit his first 9 shots, 5 threes, 25 points in the first quarter. Nobody's talking about them. Bucks Warriors finals. I said it.
I like that. My man says Steph and Giannis probably the 2 fight for the MVP. Can't argue that based on what you've seen first week. But what do you think? I don't know. The Big Flow Show. I know the Bulls are finally saying that they are back.
The Bulls, they, I don't know. They're gonna be competitive. They're gonna make the playoffs. They might win a series or whatever, but it's rough. I try not to be a Cowboy-esque and go too crazy, but I still think the Lake Show got one more. This one more, the toothbrush, when you got the toothpaste, you got one more brush out of it, you squeeze it. Just one before you throw the tooth away. We got one more season. Yes,
Did you see what Russell Westbrook showed up in the game too? He had on basically a leotard, man. When I saw that, I said the Lakers will not win anything. And you wear what you want to wear, man. Lord knows I go off on the deep end and step out, and I'm very risky when it comes to my fashion. So who am I? But I think that the line can be drawn at a leotard.
I mean, he definitely wasn't wearing a Browns hat, so I'll give him a pass.
Hey, fresh, baby.
I think he's above the line.
D'Ernest, go get your D'Ernest jerseys. D'Ernest in the house. I
don't know if I'm a big leotard fan. I don't know what comes on my side.
You on the fence? Are you on the fence on that one?
We got moose knuckle going on and everything like that.
All that, man. I don't know what's going on. I was about to jump in on your Bulls because, man, leading into the season, boy, you would have thought, man, this is going to be.
We trying, though. We trying. The Bulls don't normally try.
Y'all got the wrong brother. Y'all got the wrong brother. Like LaMelo over there balling. I don't know. Actually, I like Lonzo. So
LaMelo wasn't on the. I'm sure we would have taken LaMelo had he been available, but I don't think they were trading him. So we took his other brother.
In real basketball news in Chicago. In real basketball news in Chicago, let's get past that Bulls because y'all, come on, man. Y'all are the Cowboys when it comes to it. Ain't had no success in forever.
Oh, see, stop with that.
Come on now.
We're not crazy, delusional people. We're fair weather. We're the worst. You lose the first game, they be like, these Bulls. And everybody throw their stuff up.
When y'all had a chance, there was a particular ACL that hurt your chances. When Derrick Rose went down in that Miami Heat series, hated to see it, but that was a flash. Since then, y'all been bad for a long time. Sure. So let's talk. When we talk real basketball in Chicago, let's talk about the Chicago Sky of the WNBA. Shout out to the Chicago
Candace
Sky.
Parker.
Candace Parker came home. Her interview
Central Red Hawk.
After the win, her interview, I thought was one of the most amazing interviews. She basically was like, I'm standing up here proving that you don't have to necessarily be all in front of people trying to convince them of what you can do. Sometimes just give it time. Just continue to put in the work, and your story will write itself. And in today's Instagram world, if you ain't TikToking and pop locking, you ain't relevant on these norms. And these are the norms now. For her to say that on the victory podium, I thought went a long way. I love seeing the fact that she went home and got her championship. They beat the Mercury, who everyone thought was unbeatable. They beat them 3-1 convincingly, and I'm happy for Candace Parker. I'm even happier for the WNBA. We've talked about it here on this show a lot. We've talked about the pay disparity between sports. We talked about whether or not the networks have been complicit in making sure the WNBA does not take off, and what the WNBA itself has done to be in its own way. First time ever they have a chief marketing officer. So what they have or have not done to prevent the league's success. But this particular championship was not only a great product on the court, but it did well in terms of viewership. And, you know, there are a bunch of storylines within the game that were attractive to purists, basketball purists. So shout out to the Chicago Sky. But for me, more importantly, shout out to the WNBA. I don't know if you guys want to comment or not before we moved on.
I just want to give a shout out to Naperville Central Redhawks. This Candace's alma mater, where my child goes to school. And that's all I got to say. Shout out. Bring it home.
Wintrust Arena was sold out. They played in front of a sold out crowd. Ratings for Game 3 reached 1 million viewers, which is a whole new plateau for the WNBA. ETP, anything?
It's great that it's getting all this new attention. Like, I'm glad that, you know, it's definitely been exciting, you know, throughout watching the games. There's definitely been a lot of highlights. The final game was pretty challenging. You know, I mean, the Phoenix, they missed the last 11. They didn't score a basket in the last almost 5 minutes of the game. So in a finals closeout game, it's not really a performance, you know, that's that respectable. It's tough to watch. But the biggest issue that I have, given that they got all this new notoriety, they got a lot more interest, a lot more audience, and then the Phoenix Mercury lose in a really tough fashion, and then they don't even do press at the end. Like, this is starting to show the level of acceptance of athletes that don't have to fulfill all of their obligations. Like, I'm a little concerned, right? Because the WNBA is looking for more reach, more awareness, more popularity, but they're not approaching the obligations of actually building that audience in a way that's going to help sustain and help the league to thrive. So I understand they were mad. Supposedly Diana Taurasi broke a door in the locker room, and then the Chicago Sky brought that. They brought that to the parade.
She big man. Look,
yeah, but I think there's just, you know, I hope, you know, I hope they're ready for the growth in the audience, because these little things are showing that they didn't necessarily prepare in advance to know that there are going to be a lot of eyes watching, and as more eyes watching, there's going to be more scrutiny. Yeah, and you got to follow the protocols. So
to whom much is given, to whom much is given, much is expected.
I thought you were going to say that the big three, you're still surprised because the big three has higher value.
Listen, I'm going to tell you right now, Stephanie Dolson, Chicago Sky, she was a gold medalist 3-on-3 basketball, and she won the WNBA championship.
Here we go.
Congratulations to her.
Can we make the disclaimer?
Hopefully we'll see
these are the views of Ellis, the producer.
I'm not
himself.
talking about lowering the rims. I'm not talking about making
you
making
just like
the
to
game
take
easier.
2 of the 5 girls off the court.
You're gonna do 3-on-3. These are the,
and then you have more teams. There's only
Ellis.
12 WNBA teams. You can have more teams.
So these are like Wilt Chamberlain championships. Is what you're trying to tell me. Wilt Chamberlain, he won championships when it was like
we could talk about it another day, but I'm gonna stick by 3-on-3. I'll give you a whole thesis with facts and figures if you like. I can, dust off my NBA statistics and all that.
Again, these are the views of ETP only and not the views of the Ball Hawk Sports Talk.
You wanted to lower the rims. You want to lower the rims.
Because they be out there dunking
more
on girls.
Disrespectful. That's more disrespectful than changing the format of the game.
Yeah. Hey,
you all can't dunk. We're gonna give you a step ladder.
Do you even want to see the girls dunk? I mean,
I do. I want to see
Griner dunk the other day. Were you like, who did you get charged?
It wasn't that impressive because the rims are too high. Look.
Nobody wants. Who cares? I don't want to see them.
We got some pretty funny comments. The first one that was just on.
Yeah. So this comment, my solution is not to replace the women with men. My solution is to make it exciting. And given that they don't have the infrastructure again, to have all of the teams, to have 30 teams, bringing it down to 3-on-3 is an option from a business standpoint, and it's exciting because I watched the Olympics and it was exciting to watch women's 3-on-3. Watching men's 3-on-3 is boring. Watching men, it's the same tennis, women's tennis. I'm a big fan of women's tennis. They play best of 3 sets. Watching men's tennis takes forever, best of 5, and they play too long. It's fast. It looks like the court's too small. Nobody complains about that. It's the same game. It's just a different format. It's not lowering the rims.
I love that you're defending this, and I love our comments from our live audience. I appreciate it. The previous comment said, be careful because men in leotards is a protected group. And now you just you did tread lightly with what I would consider a pretty interesting business solution for what the WNBA should be.
No, but why? All right, I'm not trying to belabor this, but why do you think that I'm being disrespectful?
Because you're changing the game completely. You're saying 5-on-5 is going to become 3-on-3. They
should conform to what you want. They're playing the sport the way the sport is.
Put some spec on their name, man. If Candace Parker sees you in the streets, she's gonna play you on site 1-on-1.
I'm not taking away from your skills.
She's gonna dunk on you. Brittany Griner gonna dunk on you in your driveway.
She better dunk on me. She's 6'8".
There's another former WNBA player that is in the news, and for all the good reasons. Shout out to Dawn Staley. She has a 7-year extension for $22.4 million. She's the highest paid women's basketball coach, tied with Gino Auriemma. I would imagine that her agent looked at that number and said, with all this conversation about pay disparity, look at my record of the last several years. We're both coaching women's college basketball. I want that number. And so she absolutely deserves it, absolutely earned it. So shout out to her. But if you compare her to the highest paid coaches on the men's side, she makes less than the 20th highest paid coach on the men's side. So there's still some room to go. HBCUs, we got to get into that this week. The NBA will include HBCU Classic during the All-Star Game weekend in Cleveland in 2022. The reason they're going to have it in 2022, they're going to have the All-Star Game there because we'll be getting ready for the Super Bowl. That's a whole nother thing. Howard versus Morgan will be the game. And this week's real highlight of the HBCU space has to be Jackson State. Saw a record attendance for homecoming. They had more in attendance than the Alabama versus Mississippi State game, which is an SEC game. They had 55,357 versus an Alabama versus Mississippi State game that had 53,796 people. So shout out to Jackson State, man. But other programs aren't seeing the same success, specifically Norfolk State, who has hopefully we'll get to it in name, image, and likeness. It was a great running back, but they don't have great attendance. Tennessee State, who we know Eddie George is coaching, has low turnout for home games and even their homecoming, which is disappointing these other coaches. So I guess trying to capture lightning in the bottle and take what is the Dion primetime phenomenon and create a multiplier. So it happens across HBCU sports facilities, across different stadiums that HBCUs are playing, across different homecomings for different institutions, is what the HBCU community is going to have to figure out, the leaders that be. There's something to be said about Dion, the way he's doing it, but unfortunately it's not been duplicated in other programs. We got to go NIL update before we get out of here, and then we're going to take it home. I'll start NIL update in this episode. Fallen leaves. The opportunities that have been squandered for so many years are now being picked up and being utilized. And one of those, this running back from Norfolk State, Raekwon Smith, has a deal with East Bay. And he also has other deals with over 40 deals. He has an agent, this guy, Freddie Berry, and they're trying to bring more deals to HBCUs. University of Florida redshirt freshman Anthony Richardson recently signed with the attorney Darren Heitner, who I happen to very strongly and unequivocally dislike. Darren Heitner does like this sports blog. He was an agent. Now he, I think, is his own PR person because he's in the center of all of these stories. And all of the stories that are talking about these athletes, he's in the center of them. And I think he is, prime candidate for MVP of the exploitation train. And the deals are more about him being the negotiator than the athlete signing the deal. But lo and behold, he has created two different stories. One being Anthony Richardson, who's the backup quarterback, and Darren Heitner is also the marketing or NIL agent for the Fresno State Twins, basketball twins. They have an HBO deal now. Beautiful young ladies. And Darren Heitner is at the center of it. This has been my challenge from the beginning about name, image, and likeness. I said it was ripe for exploitation, and they've got these agencies popping up all over the place. These stories popping up because of the carrot being dangled, right? I think agents like Darren Heitner, they love the carrot being dangled of their own newsworthiness within the story. And so that's why these stories are being told. I don't know if you guys wanted to touch on anything, name, image, and likeness before we take it home for the night. The day.
I saw a story last night. I was watching whatever that Real Sports is with Gumble. Anyway,
Brian Gumble.
Yeah, and so I watched the thing on the Twins. It's funny. It's interesting now because here they are. I don't know how prominent that basketball program is, but those girls are making more money than the president of the university and the head coach that they're playing for.
I'm gonna ask that you call them young women, young ladies, not girls.
Did I say girls?
See what I did there?
What if my kid's about that around that age? I can't call them girl? Okay, my bad.
Yeah, your kid is about that age.
These young professionals, they make more money than me, so I should put some respect on their name. But here they are coming out, and they're making more money than everybody. So it changes the dynamic because you look how like the NFL changes different because the coaches and the people are talking to millionaires in the room. They're not talking to kids like we were in the room. So now, you got somebody out here who's making more money than the head coach. It kind of changes the dynamic a little bit when your
right.
pockets get fatter. So I'm interested to see where that's going to turn out in a little while. Interesting to see what's going to happen with Spencer Rattler, who looks like he's trying to transfer. He took the Oklahoma off of his Instagram and his Twitter page, the quarterback moniker at Oklahoma. He took that. Oklahoma gone. So he's making all this money. Do his sponsors tell him where he transfers to? Is that going to be something that comes up next, or how's that going to work? But it's all very interesting.
With the transfer portal, we're going to see a lot of that. As soon as you have a second of hardship, in this episode of Fallen Leaves, the transfer portal and young people just not really being equipped to deal with adversity, not diversity, means that these fallen leaves never get an opportunity to photosynthesize, become strong trees, and let new leaves grow. They transfer. ETP, anything with name, image, and likeness before we take it home for the day?
Yeah, no, I know that there's a lot of agencies, agents, marketing companies that are,
exploiters.
Well, as you would say that they are exploiting. However, the other side, there's another side of the story, right? So there's the redshirt freshman, Anthony Richardson from Florida. I know you have, your issues with his representation, but their idea is we're going to be more strategic about the deals that he engages in. And so as this all starts to develop, there's always going to be exploitation, but at least I think there's an opportunity where people can find the right level of support, that they're not engaging in all of these crazy deals. They're not compromising their brand. They're not necessarily being exploited. If they have the right representation, like Tom Carter Consulting, who we talked to last week, who can help advise on this process, because it is very Wild West. But, I think at the end of the day, you still need strategic advisement to make sure that you're not compromising, signing deals that are, mortgaging your future just for some short money for the short term. But this is what we knew it to be. But I think it's going to die down because it's not becoming much of a news story like the University of Miami stories where they're offering the whole team a deal and all of these other, all the highlights that we've talked about that have been considered on your side exploitation. They're not as newsworthy, so you're not going to get all these, kind of basically publicity stunt type of deals. It's all just going to go to the top where, whoever has the most Instagram followers, whoever is the starting quarterback. But it is interesting to see how they're going to influence, whether you go into the draft, whether you go, whether you transfer to another school based on locale, and because this is where our market is and our brand is best represented here, maybe you transfer to this school. So it's, as we've talked about, it's just another voice in making these decisions at a very formative point in their early careers. And hopefully they stay on track, but there's going to be more cautionary tales, and it's, we just hope that they pick the right support systems and get the right team around them.
I think they all need strategic advice, and I'm not saying that the particular person that you described, that representative, can't provide it. Hopefully he can. I just personally dislike him for whatever reason. But the strategic aspect of a lot of this, as we're seeing it now, as it still becomes the Wild Wild West, is that these representatives strategically are getting in the middle of the story and being very cautious about what deals you take. The definition of supply and demand, that's not state of the art. And so I guess that's the only thing I would say. Before I get out of here, I'm gonna bring you guys back for 30 seconds because we got Djokovic. We got Djokovic, who is not going to disclose his vaccine status, which might lead to him not being a participant in the Australian Open, which would eliminate one more opportunity for him to break the record. Thumbs up, thumbs down on, like, we haven't heard as much about this as we did with Kyrie. He hasn't disclosed his vaccination status, so it could jeopardize him playing Australian Open. But it seems to be a story that is a lot less discussed than Kyrie. What do you guys think about it? The 10-second version of it. What do you think? I'll start with you, Big Flo Show.
Totally different. It's an individual. Tennis is an individual sport. It impacts nobody but him and his sponsors or whatever. So I have no problem with it. If he doesn't want to do it, nobody's hurt but him. When it's Kyrie, you start worried about the team. You brought these people together. They could have got somebody else. You're here, blah, blah, blah. It's a distraction. It's a little different. I still respect Kyrie's wishes when it comes to the vaccine. If you want to do that, it's cool. But totally different in tennis. Individual sport, it's all on you.
ETP.
Outside of any opinions about the vaccine, I love this as a strategic move. He's not disclosing. He is arguing to the protection of privacy.
HIPAA.
He's saying, I don't want to disclose whether or not I'm vaccinated. So he very well could be vaccinated. So I love this as an approach. Who knows what's going to happen? It's all on him. But I think this is just a much more strategic way to address this issue from a privacy standpoint, because now it's not about pro-vaccine, anti-vaccine. This is my personal medical history. I don't want to disclose that. And if it requires me to disclose that to compete, I'm not going to do that, and I'm going to take a stand. And it sounds like other players within the circuit are actually lining up, to support that as well. So it's an interesting move. How it plays out.
You can't catch COVID from somebody playing tennis. It's so far away from you. How you gonna catch COVID from him?
Well, I don't know if I'm gonna disclose whether or not we're gonna be back next week. Yeah, I will. We're gonna disclose. We will be here again next week. This has been a great show. Fallen leaves. We started off talking about what it means from a scientific standpoint, but more importantly, when it comes to sports, business, and entertainment, we saw this week a lot of people that have been considered fallen. We realized it wasn't the person that had fallen, just like the leaves. We made the analogy, they're just opportunities. We talked about the earnings from the Browns. There's going to be in your sports entertainment life opportunities. There's going to be opportunities in your sports life that are going to come and go, but be just like the trees. Stay strong, photosynthesize, and wait on the water, wait on the sunlight. And new leaves will grow in the spring and the summer. And it's great to see when that does happen. Fallen Leaves episode is brought to you by the Ball Hawk Sports Talk, hosted by your boy, B. Brown, ESQ, a.k.a. the Ball Hawk, a.k.a. the Mouth of South, a.k.a. Mr. Excessive Celebration, joined always with The Big Flow Show and ETP Ellis, the producer. This has been another episode of the Ball Hawk Sports Talk, where sports, business, and entertainment collide. Meet us here next week. Please like, please comment, please share, tag a friend, tag a foe, tag anybody that you know. Subscribe in the podcast world and on YouTube. We is out. Peace.